This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Tuscaloosa, Internet world. West Alabama, how we doing today on a Tuesday? It's the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com. Hope you and yours are doing well. We're live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios, broadcasting on the BamaCentral Facebook page, YouTube channel. You're listening to us on Apple Podcast, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. We're live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios, just off McFarland Boulevard. Call Derek for all of your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there for all of your insurance needs, home, life, auto, anything in the insurance realm. Derek Daniel can take care of you. We're going to have a lot of fun today in the studio. We've had a good week so far, a good Monday show with Theo yesterday, talking about the weekend. We're going to bring Theo right in here. You can follow Theo Fernandez at Theo Fernandez _ on the Twitter machine, covering all things Alabama athletics, but specifically baseball at the moment. You can follow him right there, Theo Fernandez _ Alabama baseball returns for a midweek game tonight. He'll tell us about that later in the program. We're going to talk about Alabama football pretty much most of the day today. We're going to talk about spring practice. We'll talk about weight changes. We'll talk about position battles. We'll hear from Coach DeBoer at 11 a.m. today. So we're going to talk about what we might ask Coach DeBoer, what we think he's going to say, all kinds of Alabama football topics on deck today, and we'll finish with just a little baseball preview of tonight's midweek matchup with Theo Fernandez. As always, the program is brought to you by Purple Turtle Roofing. You can call Purple Turtle Roofing at 877-787-6635 or just visit them online at roofturtle.com. You can see all their products and services right there on your phone or your web browser at roofturtle.com. You can see how they can help you with your metal roof, your shingle roof, really anything in the roofing realm. Purple Turtle Roofing can take care of you. So check them out online today at roofturtle.com. Theo, good morning, sir. How we doing?
Morning, Joe. Doing good. Good Monday. Good start to the week. Alabama baseball tonight. And most importantly, get to speak to Alabama football. We get to talk to DeBoer for the first time in
since the Rose Bowl, right?
Doing the math, that's about 70 days since we've heard from him.
Since the Rose Bowl, you got him at the Senior Bowl for about 5 to 10 minutes. But other than that, it's really been radio silence as DeBoer has been starting the offseason, replacing some coaches, hitting the transfer portal, getting ready for spring practice that started on Sunday. We will be at practice on Thursday. So if you want extra practice footage or practice footage with sound, you can find it on the BamaCentral YouTube channel on Thursday morning. We'll be out there, and we'll have all our cameras out there. We'll probably put up 3 or 4 different conglomerations of videos from Alabama football practice. But Theo, are you excited for practice? I'm driving in this morning, and the guys on the radio are all kind of talking about how there's no excitement, no buzz at spring practice. So one of the callers was complaining that they started spring practice on a Sunday. Alabama doesn't start a spring practice on Sunday. We respect the Lord's Day. The caller was talking about the Lord's Day and taking it as the day of rest and asking what in the world Kellen DeBoer was doing, and then essentially saying there's no excitement because they just started practice and nobody really even knew. Is there excitement for spring ball?
I think there is. I talked here about how a lot of people are kind of down on the team, which I think is true at the end of the day. Alabama football, doing anything is going to bring some excitement with it. I know I'm excited, right? I was just writing our roll call piece last morning, and I was like, wait a minute, we're under 180 days. That's less than half a year. I mean, we're under 6 months away from the start of the season, right? And we know this time is going to fly by. It does all the time. I think all the negativity maybe that exists right now, I did give a pretty negative take on the football team a few days ago, but no, I mean, we're going to be excited when the closer the season gets, right? The first time, oh, wow, look, Joe just tweeted a great throw from Keelan Russell. And everyone's reposting, and they're like, oh, man, we're back. We're going to win some football games this year. It's going to be so easy. Everyone's just waiting for something to be excited about. And you're going to get it over this next couple weeks, right? You're going to get it in the next 5 weeks of coverage in the spring. So I think people are going to get excited as soon as there's a reason to.
Yeah, it's football. People will be excited, especially starting on really starting mid-afternoon today when they see Coach DeBoer's face in front of the scrum and he's talking about everything that's going on. He'll be like, well, it's only been a couple days. We're probably still in acclimation period. We saw them on Sunday in helmets and shorts and shoulder pads, so they weren't in full pads on Sunday. So there will be excitement. It's just gonna ramp up a little. Like it's just such a busy season that everybody's been. I mean, and basketball has been on such a tear, with the 8-game winning streak and then finishing with the win over Auburn. So winning 9 of the last 10 for the Crimson Tide kind of has our attention a little bit. And so I think the excitement will be there. I think we just got to lean into it and start experiencing it a little bit. And today with Coach DeBoer at 11 is going to be a huge part of that. And we're going to walk out of Malmore Athletic Facility being pumped for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And even though, I mean, how much will DeBoer say? How much will we hear from him before we learn? None of that matters, right? That's kind of, I think, the point of the very beginning of spring, right?
He's so eloquent speaking and so revealing as well. So we're going to know everything about the program at about 11:20 when he's done. We're going to know who's starting, who's good, who's done the best during fourth quarter, who's done the worst during fourth quarter, who's going to class, who knows the playbook. He's going to tell everybody everything.
And anything that he doesn't get, Ryan Grubb will fill in every single hole for that.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Ryan Grubb on Thursday and Kane Womack on Friday. Now, I won't be there on Friday, but we'll try our best to cover the Kane Womack and defensive players that speak on Friday. What we will do, just for programming sake, we're going to have obviously this show today. We'll have a regular time on Wednesday. Thursday, in between practice viewing and Coach DeBoer, we'll have our show. We'll be broadcasting from Coleman Coliseum. And then on Friday, we'll broadcast probably before all the players kind of reacting to what we heard. So we'll have 5 shows, and then we'll see what we do on Saturday and Sunday, depending on Alabama. If Alabama loses on Friday, you won't hear from us till Monday. We'll react to we'll react to Alabama's loss to Ole Miss, Texas, or Georgia, whoever that will end up being. But if they win, we'll do a show on Saturday. We'll kind of previewing and talk about the game and that sort of thing through the weekend. And that'll be kind of our postseason tournament plans. All these games happen on the weekend. Might be doing an extra episode here or there. It might be remote. It's okay. Yeah,
I'm excited. It'll be fun.
All right, so let's talk about this because we just had fourth quarter, and Alabama it kind of updated their heights and weights over the weekend with the start of spring practice. They put everybody on the scale. Hey, Keith Connell, good morning. Thanks for commenting on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you, sir. Keith, are you excited for Alabama spring football? I was asking Theo, so we'll get your opinion right there, sir. Everybody updating heights and weights. And okay, Sunday evening, I saw a big deal about, a bunch of players gaining weight, a bunch of players losing weight, getting ready for the new season. And I read the list overnight last night because I really wasn't ready to talk about it yesterday, but I wanted to talk about it today. I read the list overnight last night. And Theo, you said it as you were reading the list this morning. Underwhelming was the not a lot of changes here. I mean, there's a lot of names on here that added 2 pounds, that lost 2 pounds, but I don't really care about a 2 or a 4 pound difference, even a 5 pound difference. I think you got to get up to the 8, 9, 10, 11 pound differences for me to start caring. Theo, not to put my business out there, but I lost 10 pounds since the start of the year. And honestly, not much is different in your boy's body composition and your boy's athleticism and in your boy's strength. I'm just saying myself, like I lost 10 pounds and I needed to because I had a tire on my waist. But like losing weight, gaining weight, like, okay, gaining 10 pounds and probably being muscle is enough. So Jack Samarco, you get the double gold star. Jack Samarco going from 252 to 263, gonna probably be really embracing that blocking role, the fullback, the Robbie Oots kind of a mentality right there. But nobody else. There's a couple others that stand out to me, but overall, I look at these weight changes and I am underwhelmed. What about you? Does anything stand out to you? Because right now I'm looking at this. You see a couple of guys. There's about 4 or 5 guys that stand out to me. The rest of these names are just fluff to make everybody feel good.
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's recognize that obviously weight is important, but a lot of it comes down to the composition, right? There's not all pounds are created equally. And then when you are an athlete of this caliber, you are in a place where everything matters so much, right? Where, like, for example, Bray Hubbard added 4 pounds. Doesn't stand out, but we don't know what those 4 pounds look like, right?
Biceps.
Did he gain 4 pounds while also shedding fat? And is he like even, like it's hard to say. We don't know any of these guys. Are we going to walk in?
Those 4 pounds are in the gluteus maximus, so he can explode.
That would be great for Alabama, right? And then you see, I don't know, even Ryan Williams or Ryan Coleman Williams going from 178 pounds to 182. You think with a guy like that, every single ounce of muscle that he can add without sacrificing speed means so much more than it does for most players, right?
That's true.
If Ryan Williams has added it and he's just as fast, and now, I can absorb hits even 5% better because I have 4 more pounds of muscle on me. Like, you got to think about what a big difference all that makes for guys. With that being said, when we get down to 1-2 pounds, it doesn't jump out at face value. But are we just going to, you want to just go into some players?
Yeah, who stands out to you? Because I've got about 5, 6 or so that stand out to me, plus and minus, on the plus and minus side. Who stands out to you? And we'll just take, we'll just play ping pong.
Start with William Sanders, guy who I think a lot of us will.
That's a good one.
See starting potentially inside on the line, going 308, 315. Again, what does that weight look like, right? Are we leaner? Are we more explosive? Are we just as powerful? Like, are we more powerful with improved athleticism and strength? Like, I think he's a little more in-game shape when we hit September. It's a game changer on the inside.
I like that. I like that as a pick right there. Because if he is wanting to start, and I know that is his desire, right? Then 315 will serve him, especially 315 in the spring. He's gonna lose 4 pounds in practice, and it'll be 311, 310. But as you said, that's water. I think that he'll probably. What do you think? Try to gain 3 more pounds, 4 more pounds, get to 320 for the start of fall camp, and then be playing about 312.
Yeah, that's
because you're gonna lose.
You're playing at 312, 315 range, but add an apps with a lower body fat, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably a goal.
I think that's a good. I mean, I do. I think that he had a good move. And look, adding weight. Adding weight the way these guys do it is a little differently than the way I do it. Eating pizza and wings and staying on the couch, not doing anything. These guys are adding. Most of these muscle, most of these weight numbers are muscles. I mean, you add 8 pounds. It's like the thing the two that stand out to me right here are Kevin Riley and Keelan Russell, both at +7. Kevin Riley 197 to 198, and then Keelan Russell getting over 200 pounds to 201. Yeah. Like, those are. You're +7. You're you're right in the range. You're still right in the range for your position group. Even Keelan Russell, like, honestly, both of them could stand to gain 5 to 10 more pounds. But it just shows to me there is work being put in. I just don't want to sit here and be like, oh man, Billy's gonna be amazing because he added 5 more pounds. I think it's just shows small steps that the program is working, has been working during these 70-something days that we've been away from football.
Yeah, absolutely. There isn't much. I'd say the one other is probably Daniel Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about earlier. He lost 8 pounds. He is down to, what's his number?
236.
236. Yeah, that's better. If you're faster, if you're more explosive, if you've hung on to a lot of that strength. But yeah, so much of it just comes down to, well, what do you do with the weight? How are you moving on the field? And we won't know that for a while.
Well, I do like Daniel Hill getting a little slimmer. So those are who stood out to me. Daniel Hill, definitely. Daniel Hill, Ryan Williams, you already mentioned that. Ryan Coleman Williams.
RCW.
There you go. Kevin Riley and Keelan Russell are all who kind of stand out to me on this weight change list right here. You said RCW. Hunter DeCiver was talking about that the other day. Are we going to call him like JSN, RCW? And he's like, I don't think RCW flows off the tongue. Do you? I was like, I was like, I don't think it's going to stick.
Yeah, it could be better.
RC Cola. That's what it makes me think of.
Yeah.
You ever tasted RC Cola?
I don't think I have.
Oh man, yeah. It's okay.
RCW, it doesn't really stick.
Yeah, so
I think Hollywood
Williams
will be used a lot more than it was.
Hollywood Coleman Williams.
Hollywood Coleman Williams.
Still a mouthful.
Just Hollywood.
Hollywood. All right, so if you got any of these weight changes that made you think about guys playing better or worse, let us know. You're welcome to. Cameron Metzger said, I'll be more excited if they go back to a real game format. I believe they sneakily kind of put out that, let's see, where's my tweet? Let's see, Miller. I think they sneakily put out that that they will be having a game. They put out a press release for spring. They put out let's see, right. That's not what I want. Right there. They put out a press release for spring, and you can find it on rolltide.com under game day. It has Golden Flake A-Day, 32 days, 3 hours away, 45 minutes, and 50 seconds as we are recording this right here. So I think that they are teasing that it will be a game day atmosphere and a game day experience. I think as long as everybody stays healthy, Cam, that you will have a game. Unless you have a position group like last year where all the tight ends got hurt, I think you're going to end up having it. And Katie, I was talking about this with Katie last week when we were kind of talking about A-Day, and she said, well, you have to remember, Joe, your scholarship numbers have gone from 85 to 105, so they have an even deeper roster this year than they did last year. Now, some of that are, mixture of tweeners of these guys might have been walk-ons in years past or might have been underrated recruits. But your numbers are closer to the 105 than the 85. And so your depth should not be an issue. Cam, I would still expect to see a game. Did I just lose you and you pop
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, all right,
I got myself back.
Yeah, I saw like 2 Theos in the back end. Yeah. I was like, what happened right there? No, but I do think they will have a game, is what Cam says. I'll be more excited if they have a game. Keith Connell, always excited about Alabama spring football. I wish I could make it home to do some tailgating, but it won't be possible this year. Keith, we hope that you're safe and sound and productive and everything goes smoothly with whatever you're doing in your personal life, and you can get back to Tuscaloosa pretty soon.
For the fall, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I think, it's just small signs that fourth quarter was fourth quartering.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's move ahead then, because Katie went and put out 3 position battles to look at this spring. 3 key position battles for Alabama. And let's skip quarterback because we've talked quarterback a little bit already. We'll keep talking quarterback. We'll get more quarterback in. No, we won't. Coach DeBoer's quarterback comments says, they're all working hard. We like what we see out of everybody. He's going to give specific compliments to Austin Mack and Keelan Russell, and leave it at that.
It's cool. Like, they're competing, but like they also try to help each other get so much better. Like they just work so well together.
The culture in the room so high. Left tackle is probably the biggest question mark to me, because you have so many guys that could play left tackle, starting with Jackson Lloyd, but you have so many guys that could play left tackle. Javen James as well. Javen James, you've got the kid from Texas, Nick Brooks as well, that could come in and play left tackle. You could conceivably flip Michael Carroll out to left tackle if you really wanted to do that. You could do a lot of different things at left tackle.
Ty Haywood.
Oh gosh, yes, thank you.
I think he's not on the inside track, but I think he's one of the favorites probably. Right now.
So you're looking at 3 at least in Jackson Lloyd, Javen James, Ty Haywood, and really even 4 Nick Brooks playing tackle at Texas. I think left tackle is like everybody's going to pay attention mostly to Keelan Russell or Austin Mack, but Theo, you know this. You play fantasy football. Most quarterback, I mean, if you're not drafting, last year's not a good example because Mahomes wasn't very good. But if you're not drafting the 1.1 quarterback that's really, really good, then you're basically quarterbacks 3 to 12 in your fantasy league, all pretty much the same. They're all going to get you 18, 22 points, and you're going to be okay. I can live with any of these guys. Yeah. Point being, Austin Mack and Keelan Russell, they're both, I think, good players, good prospects, and talented. But I don't think that one's going to jump off the page and give you way more than the other. I think that there might be experience factor in one. Okay, you're welcome to do that here in just a second. I don't think you're going to get that much. I think one will be better than the other, right? I think you will have a clear starter. But if you had to go to the other, let's say that option A gets hurt. We don't want to put that on anybody, but if option A gets hurt, option B comes in, and I don't think the fall off is too much. I don't think the fall off is that much. I think you still be in a viable option in a viable option scenario that option B can give you winning football. Left tackle, you got so many. Huge question marks. Are you going to play sophomore Jackson Lloyd, who got virtually no significant snaps last year, played in a couple of games, but no real significant action? You're going to play Jackson Lloyd, the guy everybody's excited about. Are you going to play transfer Javen James, who was okay in Mississippi State, but not great. Okay, not great. A little penalized, little struggles in the run games here and there. Nick Brooks, little struggles in the pass game here and there. Ty Haywood got basically very, very few, didn't get a whole lot of significant reps at Michigan either this past season. So he transfers in, and he's highly touted. So he and Jackson Lloyd are basically in the same boat. I think you have such an unknown factor at left tackle. That's a more important battle for this Alabama football team than quarterback, because I think quarterback, you've got two plus players. These are two plus players. Whoever we have to go with, great. We're going to feel good about, but the other could work as well.
I just don't think we know enough yet to make that statement, but I understand it. I think it's hard to make any really blanket statement about these positions just because there is so much that we don't know. And it's hard for me to look at a guy who has been on the bench for his whole career and played one drive in the Rose Bowl, and a guy who was a true freshman, right? Who, like Austin Mack, appeared in a couple games during the season, and that's all you have. It's hard for me to look at either of those two and just go out and say, yeah, they're probably both going to give you winning football, and we don't know. Like we just don't know on those two.
Could we go baseline B-?
I don't see why. I don't see how we can.
Can we go baseline C+?
I don't think you should be able to put a baseline on two guys that you really still know nothing about, right?
Not nothing.
All of what we're going about is stuff we've seen from blowouts of bye games and one drive against a team that was up 28 points and didn't expect him to come. You have so little to go off.
But that Austin Mack throw in the Mercer game 2 years ago, oh my gosh, that throw.
Right, like that is, if you are drawing a baseline off of that, I think you got to readjust maybe how you're doing the evaluations of players.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
It's not enough for a quarterback, for a guy who is going to go out and lead an offense for 12 regular season games and then take you on a playoff run. You don't have a baseline off of what you've seen from either of those guys. And that's okay. Because you know what? You have 6 months to get that base, or 5.5 months, right, before you're probably naming a starter. That's your time to figure out what you have in those two guys. That's our time to try to evaluate. And we're going to try to evaluate. And quite frankly, we're not going to really know anything either. And we're going to be, trying to not make stuff up, but we're going to try to draw every possible conclusion about these guys. And we'll find out on the field. But don't go out and say, yeah, I've got a baseline on these guys. I know what I think these guys can do this, or that. You don't know. You haven't seen these guys.
Well, if Ty played like an A- last year, and I think that'd probably be what I would give him. Mm-hmm. If Ty played like an A- last year, I think you should expect at least a B from either Keelan Russell or Austin Mack.
Why is that?
Because I think they're both talented players, and I think that I think Ty made a lot of great plays last year that you think, ooh, 4th and 8 against Missouri, that's a nasty dang throw. A couple of throws in the Tennessee game as well, and I think Ty showed, okay, when Ty's on 10 and healthy, then he can play at probably an A+ level. But then there was also moments where, oh my gosh, get Ty off the field, he's either too hurt or he's not reading the field, or all kinds of the problems that we've already talked about a million times over. Knocks his grade down a little bit. I think that naturally Austin Mack is a better passer than Ty Simpson. I don't think that he's a bit more cerebral than Ty. I think Ty was about as cerebral as you could get at the quarterback position I know that frustrated fans a lot at different points because he was checking plays and making all kinds of adjustments. But I think that was one of his great skills was making adjustments and getting Alabama into good plays and reading the defenses post snap. I think that's where Ty had Keelan and Austin miles ahead. So I think Austin's a better I think Austin is a better passer. I think Keelan could be a better passer than Ty. Just naturally, hey, you're throwing the ball, you're throwing this pass. Who throws it the best? I think the two young guys probably throw it better than Ty did. Now I don't think they had near the understanding of the offense that Ty did. And so, yeah, I think you should. I mean, you should expect not as good as Ty last year, but still serviceable.
Yeah, and I don't think we can expect anything. I don't think.
Well, they're not highly rated recruits for nothing.
No, I'm not saying it in that sense. I'm saying, like, I think
the expectation didn't come from nothing.
I think Keelan Russell is an incredibly talented player. I think that either of these guys could come out and win the job and play better football than Ty Simpson did last year.
Good.
I think the floor is also very low just because we do not know. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, yeah, this guy is going to come in and play this level of football because I haven't seen him play football. I haven't seen him go out and play some football games and read defenses and do it over a complete game. And then
you need to watch some Duncanville football.
I certainly have not seen this guy go out and do that for a couple weeks against some teams and then have to face a Glenn Schumann defense that now has film on you and has seen all that. Like, I'm not going to sit around and say that, yes, we can see a guy do something for 9 games against SEC football teams and string together a whole season and put Alabama in a position to win the football games. There's a comment right here. Keelan's release is so quick. Yes, it is. There's a lot to be excited about with either of these guys, with Austin's arm, with Keelan's release, with just all the reasons that these guys were highly touted. There is a lot to be excited about.
I need to send you some Duncanville football.
It's not worth it to sit around and say, yeah, I know what these guys can do, or I think I know what these guys. We don't. Find out in a few months.
All right, so how you're feeling about about quarterbacks is exactly how I feel about left tackle. I think you could have, people who've watched the show know that I like Jackson Lloyd. I think he's going to be I think he has potential to be a great player. I really like Ty Haywood as a high school recruit. I didn't pay attention to him at all at Michigan. Javen James does not move my needle at all, but I recognize that he has a lot of experience at high level football, SEC experience. Nick Brooks also doesn't really move my needle at all. And so I think you could be looking at Alabama, the left tackle position at either an F- or an A+, like all the way through. And so that's why I'm like more interested. And it's going to be harder to tell. It's going to be harder in our 15-20 minute viewing, it's going to be harder to tell anything from the left tackle battle. Just as like you're not going to be able to really tell anything from the quarterback battle in our 15-20 minute viewing either. But to me, it's more important. I think the left tackle battle is more important than the quarterback battle.
That's a fair take, but I just disagree on why do we have a baseline for the quarterbacks? Why do we say, oh yeah,
because we've seen a couple snaps from them but none from the left tackles, none at all.
All right, we've seen Javen James put together a season as a starting SEC left tackle.
He had about a C+.
Yeah. So doesn't that say baseline right there? That's quite literally a baseline by textbook definition.
Sure.
That is, we've seen this guy, a member of Alabama's left tackle room, play SEC football at the same position and put off
worse than Caden Proctor.
There's a baseline. So you know that you have a floor set at the left tackle position. You know that worst case scenario, Javen James wins the job without significant improvement and is the same player he was at Mississippi State.
Ugh.
Like that's your floor.
That doesn't excite me.
That shouldn't excite you, but it also is not an absolute like, oh, you've got an F production here. No, you have a solid. You brought that guy in because
worse than Caden Proctor.
You brought that guy in because he showed that he is capable of playing left tackle at the SEC level. And I think the odds of him not improving or very, very low. This is a guy who, like we said, started his career in the MAC. What was his second school? Is it Maryland?
Akron to Maryland to Mississippi State, right?
You've gone from the MAC. You played football at Maryland. You started in the SEC last year. And you know what? You probably learned a lot from that year in Starkville. And you're probably going to come here and develop.
Yeah, no Maryland. Akron to Mississippi State.
There wasn't a second stop?
No. Okay. 2 years at Maryland, 1 year at State.
Okay. And you've started at a low level and you've reached the SEC and you have the experience that you can apply. That is a position where I look and I say, yeah, there is a baseline there. So whether Javen James improves or whether any of these other really high upside guys come through, you know that if somebody besides Javen James wins the job, it is because they have been evaluated at better than what Javen James did. And we already know what Javen James did. So we can come in to the 2026 season reasonably expecting there to be a floor for what the left tackle position gives you. That's my take on it.
I don't think that's unfair. I don't think that's unfair. What you said was pretty logical. Just feeling more concerned over here about the offensive line and left tackle specifically than the quarterback. I think you got a lot of talent in the quarterback room. I think you got a lot of talent, and you just got to put it on the field and put it on the field and let them get some experience. They're gonna make some mistakes, but let's see if they can work through their mistakes and improve. I think they're gonna be. I think you got two really good players. You got a good problem in Tuscaloosa in Austin Mack and Keelan Russell.
I do. I think these guys are talented. Like I said, we just don't know how well that talent applies onto the football field. And I'm not going to sit around and lie and say, yeah, this talent will apply well. We just don't know.
Last position group on Katie Wyndham's article, 3 key position battles for spring. You can read it on BamaCentral.com and get Katie's perspective and Katie's takes from all these. We encourage you to do that. Follow her at Katie Wyndham _ on the Twitter machine. Is inside linebacker. And I think that's another fascinating position, but I think that you've got some leaders in that room right now in QB Reese and Caden Jones. Now, I loved the 3 freshmen that you brought in last year. You've heard me talk about Luke Metz, Duke Johnson, and Abdul Sanders. Abdul got a lot of praise last spring. Even made an interception in that fake 8A. I think he picked off Keelan Russell, but he made an interception in the 8A. What do you want to call it? Experience in the 8A activities. Yeah, exactly. So Abdul got a lot of praise last season, and QB Reese got a lot of praise from the summer all through the fall by nearly everybody that you talk to. Now, specifically Tim Keenan, old high school teammate. So I think he kind of took him under his wing a little bit in that sense. But everybody talked about how hard QB Reese worked. You saw a couple of flashes from Caden Jones in blowouts, but then Caden busted an ankle or busted a foot, had a lower body injury in the middle of the year and ended up missing some time, then came back. So it's not that serious. You're going to be healthy going forward. I don't know that this battle is as big a question mark because you've got some up and coming. I mean, you are replacing 3 seniors. You're replacing Deontay Lawson. You're replacing Justin Jefferson and Nakai Hill-Green. So that does make it like a brand new starting unit. But I think that Caden Jones and QB Reese have enough of a experience level. We talk about baseline and enough of an experience baseline that you could throw them out there and they can swim. They're not going to drown.
I've been singing QB Reese's praises for about 8 months now. I'm very, 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 very high on this guy and what I think he can do for this defense. And Caden Jones he's a talented guy. QB Reese, I think, will blow people away. Deontay Lawson,
Caden Jones,
you would,
and QB Reese.
I mean, both. Obviously, yeah. There's roles for both of them to get on the field a lot, and
both former Joe Gaither show guests.
Really, I'm gonna go watch that QB Reese episode.
There you go.
But no, I mean QB. I spoke with him at the Rose Bowl. It was Deontay Lawson, right? Who just said he's going to be the one who surprises some people this season. He said that for a reason, right? And I think that reason is because he's a guy who's gained a lot of trust with the staff and is a guy who I think he has the inside track to start. But obviously, 3 inside linebackers are going to see the field a lot. So I think both him and Jones will be out there. And I think that's something that Alabama fans should be pretty content with what they've shown, what we know talent-wise. I have no problem there.
I think you're looking at Caden Jones, QB Reese being 1 and 1A, and I think you got Luke Metz and Abdul Sanders fighting each other tooth and nail for that next man up in the inside linebacker room. And honestly, I feel good about both those guys. I think both those guys are really good players. You didn't really see hardly anything from Duke Johnson last year. Obviously, freshman is hard to tell, but you did see a lot of Luke Metz on special teams and a little bit in linebacker action in later games. So I'm excited about what those guys can do.
This is probably the position I'm actually most excited, and I think we'll learn the most from Kane Womack and from the interviews that we get. Because there's a lot of talent in this room. First of all, what is Caleb Woodson, right? How has he adjusted? What have they liked from him? Because he's a guy that, like, I tried looking at some of his stuff from last year.
It's hard to tell.
It's hard, man. Especially, like, defensive evaluation is so brutal, man. Like, especially not knowing what a player's assignment on the players and what they're supposed to do. And and even Katie in the article, like, it hasn't been declared by the coaches yet. It can be assumed that he will start. Yeah, I'd say that's a fair assessment, but you just don't know. And then I'm excited because you listed off all those names, right? Who has taken who's the guy who, through 1 week, this guy's he looks good. Like, he has really applied what he learned last year. And he is, like, really competing in a way that maybe a lot of people didn't expect him to. So I think inside linebacker is, you have a lot of talent. Who's going to apply it?
Let's finish with this on this topic before we transition to our press conference with Coach DeBoer. Katie mentioned 3 position battles: quarterback, left tackle, inside linebacker. What is the next big position battle? If she had made this article 4 big position battles to watch, what's the 4th for you, Theo? I've got one in my head, but what's the 4th for you? I can go. I just didn't want to burn.
I don't want to take yours. I don't have a strong one, but you go.
To me, it's very obvious that the next big position battle is the Bandit.
Yeah,
is in the Bandit room, because you lost nearly every Bandit that played anything last year. But both to graduation, to NFL draft, to transfer portal, whatever. Y'all are paying attention to that. You brought in just a bevy of guys, a bunch of freshmen. You brought in Devin Tompkins. You brought in all kinds of players that are all question marks. And I think that this is the biggest question mark on a defense that has a lot of talent. And not to say there's no talent in the Bandit room, but you just got so much unknown that I think you have huge issue. Now, I think Jamarian Latham, go back to the beginning of the first segment, the weight gain. Jamarian Latham added 8 pounds. He's now up to 270. I think Jamarian Latham, after getting his medical red shirt, getting his 7th year, is going to be your lead this guy is probably going to be playing Bandit the most. To start with, you got Fatutu Henry, who was moved into the room last year, JUCO, then he bounced around and landed in the Bandit room. So I think that he's kind of there as well. You're just have a lot of question marks and a lot of unknown. So for me, I might even put I probably would have put Bandit above inside linebacker as far as unknown stuff, because I think with inside linebacker you have, we know these names, we know these guys, we've seen a couple of snaps from them, we know their hype. In the Bandit room, you don't really have a good grasp of, is it going to be Camarion Johnson? Is it going to be Jamarian Matthews, right? Is it going to be Corey Howard? So any of these freshmen? Or is Jamarian Latham going to be enough? Pickens County Tornado, is he going to be enough to hold down the room himself? I mean, we see how Kane Womack has operated this defense over the last 2 seasons. It has been hockey shifts, men on, men off, men on, men off. It has been free slumping. So, you're going to have a role as a starter, but who's behind you? And who's behind you after that? What's the rotation? If it's just Jamarian Latham that you feel good about, pretty concerned about that room. So Bandit for me would have been the 4th place on her article, and it really would have been the 3rd in my book. I probably would have gone left tackle, quarterback, Bandit in my, and then inside backer.
No, I agree. That's a big one. You said all that better than I could. No, I'm not doing any skill position here, just because I think we're all those guys are going to get a chance to produce, right? And that's one that I think will unfold like it did last year, right? Everyone's getting reps, and then a couple weeks in, you're going to see, okay, yeah, here's our RB1. He's getting the lion's share of the reps. I'm going to go with the Husky position here.
Ooh, good choice.
I think Red Morgan has impressed. I'm very, very high on him. I like a lot of what he does for this football team. Xavier Mincy came in here. What was he? I think it was the number 4 cornerback in that class, right? Behind, because Jalen was 2, Xavier was 3, and then Mincy was 4. You're a junior right now. You are. Like, this is your time to, really highly touted player. How are you going to get on the field regularly this year? What are you going to do to become an integral part of this defense? Right?
And he had a hard card dealt with him in recruiting this year.
Yeah.
With Jaira Edwards coming in like, hey, I know you've been working for 2 years, but we just found this guy in Maryland who's a 5-star safety Husky type who could play Husky.
Yeah.
I think that's a hard card to be dealt. I think Jaira Edwards is a bad man.
No, I do too. And I think Edwards is going to demand to be on the field with the way that he produces and the way that he impresses early. And obviously we'll get updates on him, but I think that's one. I wonder, I don't quite know what Dre Kirkpatrick's role is, but you'd have to imagine that's a position where he, right? Like, it feels like Husky is at his numbers. He bulked up to 205, which he was, I think, hovering right around 200. Like, that's a guy who can hit, man. And you look at everything he's been through, and that's a guy that the fan base is really rooting for to see succeed, right? You'd have to imagine he's coming in with a new level of maturity and clarity as to his career. Like, I think you have guys like him and Mincy that have stuff that they want to prove, right? You have Red Morgan, who I almost feel like could move out of Husky, right? And who could, I don't know. I don't know where Red Morgan goes. He's such a talented guy that he figures to be on the football field. I don't know where that is. I feel like it could be. You just have a lot of guys, and that it'll be a lot of rotation. You know that you'll see a lot of them, but it almost feels like there are too many mouths to feed in that extremely talented secondary. Who is going to emerge? I'm fascinated to see how that unfolds.
Well, spring practice has sprung, and we will talk to Coach DeBoer at 11 a.m. Last thing on the football topic then, before we get your baseball preview for the day, is what the heck should we talk to Coach DeBoer about today? What's he going to actually answer? Because we teased it with the quarterbacks. You're going to ask, somebody's going to ask, Coach, what do you see the quarterbacks? And he's going to give the most vanilla answer, complimenting both those guys and non-committing to any sort of leader or any sort of, well, it's just a couple days. We like how they're operating things. We like their excitement that they bring in. They're both making good throws. They're both elevating the offense. We like it. We're excited about the direction that room is going. What can we ask DeBoer? What should we ask DeBoer that will reveal something?
So I'm kind of either, I think, ask a question that, like, for example, like, okay, who is a true freshman on the roster who's really acclimated early?
That's a good question.
I think something like that. Or you do the, hey, let's get real specific here. Let's ask, hey, Coach, how is Caleb Woodson adjusted to or you ask about a specific player, and then you hope that DeBoer answers it, and then maybe give some insight into the room and the guys around him. I don't know. I'm glad it's a scrum style so that, you can kind of, because those are cool because you can kind of bounce off of if there's a question that maybe leaves something unresolved, you can kind of go, not for the kill shot, but, like really try
elaboration.
Yeah.
And I like it because if I have multiple questions, I don't have to wait on the microphone to come around. I can go pop, 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 and just edge out everybody.
Is there like an etiquette there, or can he fire off like 3 questions over the course of the session? Not back to back to back.
It's unspoken. It's unspoken. I would say that the etiquette is to be respectful, but like if you have more than one question, like it's fine. But you don't need, you do need to make some space for all your fellow cohorts to sneak in there.
Joe, I'm very good at taking up space and being loud.
I am too.
I kind of excel here.
I am too. That's why usually for these I sit right in the middle and I just 1, 2, 3, and then I'll let somebody else go. But yeah, no, it's gonna be fun to see Coach DeBoer again. Will he? He's been wearing that hat. He's wearing those hats. I mean, you got to wear a hat at practice with his hairline. Like, is he going to let it all go?
Joe, think how tough would it be if first game in the season, DeBoer walks out, black hoodie, bald,
just buzz it all. Yes. I think that he needs to go ahead and go to that.
But
look.
He can't give anyone any insight that it's happening. He's got to wear hats like leading up to that first game. And that's the first time we see bald DeBoer.
He walks out of the tunnel with the hood up and then takes it down. Cinematic. It's like, oh, bro, the Alabama fan base would go wild, especially you wax that first opponent. Bald DeBoer is back. This is our guy. So we'll talk to Coach DeBoer at 11.
Alabama would sell so much stuff with bald DeBoer in the hoodie. Like it'd be a great money making.
Well, you'll start seeing all kinds of kids all around Alabama going bald, just shaving their head bald. So no, we'll talk to Coach DeBoer at 11 a.m. You can see it on the BamaCentral YouTube channel. We're excited to do that. Theo, before we get your baseball, just an update for today. Alabama taking on a midweek opponent. Let me remind everybody about Purple Turtle Roofing. You can call Purple Turtle Roofing at 877-787-6635 for a free roof inspection today. At Purple Turtle Roofing, we're not just another contractor. We're your neighbor and your advocate when it comes to protecting your home or business. With years of hands-on experience, top-tier certification, and a commitment to excellence, we've built a reputation as Alabama's go-to roofing solution. We specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, emergency storm repairs, insurance claim support, and more. You can check them out online at roofturtle.com for all their products and services. It doesn't matter if you have a metal roof or a shingle roof. If you've got a chimney or don't have a chimney, they'll come get up on your roof, check it out, make sure you don't have any trouble spots, give you the peace of mind that you deserve in your home. 877-787-6635. Call them today, set up your free roof inspection, or check them out online at roofturtle.com. Roofing with heart, built to last. All right, Theo, Alabama baseball back in action at the Joe today at 6 o'clock against the Detroit Trojans. What's on tap?
A very, very, very fun day at the ballpark. Look, there's really no reason not to go to this game. Perfect weather, sunny, you get free. Have you guys seen the Alabama baseball hats that are being given away? They are pretty awesome. It says Alabama, pinstripes around. It is a sick
Do you have to be a student to get it?
No, they're open to everybody.
Ooh.
So it's not a student exclusive. It is. I mean, it's a first however many fans. I'd guess probably 1,000. There are a good amount of them. But you get to that ballpark, you get that hat. It's a nice looking thing to wear around. All I'd say is just go to this game if you're in Tuscaloosa. It's on SEC Network Plus. You don't want to watch that broadcast. You want to be in Tuscaloosa for a beautiful day of baseball against a team that could give Alabama a fun time. Like Troy, Alabama played 2 really, really fun games against the Trojans last year. I was at both, one in Sewell Thomas and then one down there in Troy at their beautiful ballpark. But it's going to be a fun game. Bobby Alcock's on the mound. He'll go about 2 innings, and Alabama will just kind of go by committee. We'll see a lot of the guys pitch, a bunch of guys who will throw against Tennessee out of the pen. It's a cool day. It'll be a cool day of baseball. I think that Troy is a team that Alabama should beat, but with the midweek chaos, right? They are a team that's already upset Georgia in a midweek. They have enough talent where they are going to make life difficult on any of the guys you would throw in a midweek game. So it'll be a fun, Alabama probably gives up a couple runs, and you need the bats to produce, right? And then you get electrifying hits from the guys on the roster. I think this will be a high-scoring game, like a 12-7 Alabama win or something along those lines. I think the bats will be active and alive today.
Ooh, exciting. So you see a bunch of pitchers, see a bunch of bats, see a bunch of players?
Yeah.
All right, it's exciting.
Good weather.
6 o'clock over at Sewell Thomas Stadium. You can see Alabama baseball as they take on the Troy Trojans. Make sure you follow Theo Fernandez at Theo Fernandez _ on the Twitter machine for all of his coverage of the game, and BamaCentral.com for all the written work as well, because there's going to be a lot of it. And you're going to throw Rob Vaughn's press conference up for us at the end of the night?
Yeah, I've been doing that.
That's good.
It's been fun. People watch it.
Yeah.
This Up Church watches it every day.
I tweeted out the interview that I had with Miles. I looked at it. I should have done this a couple of weeks ago, but with his big weekend, I said, well, you need to actually go pull his interview and post it again from 2023. I think is what it was. December of 23, I believe. So he's like a sophomore in high school. So like don't cast too much judgment on him. He's like a sophomore in high school at that point. So I was really appreciative of him giving me some of his time. I thought he was really good at that time as a sophomore, and you can check it out.
I really want to listen to that, but I don't know when I'll have time. So I think I'm going to make Hunter DeSiver and Katie Wyndham listen to it with me on the car ride up to Nashville.
That sounds like a good plan.
I think that is a great plan.
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan. We'll see. You'll get to know a little bit more about Miles Up Church if you check it out. It's posted on my Twitter at Joe Gaither6, but you can just find it. Just type Joe Gaither, Miles Up Church, Joe Gaither. You'll find it on all the platforms that we put our wonderful program on. Theo, anything else you got for the people today?
No, I feel like this was a productive 52-minute show. Like, I feel like it moved fast. We hit a lot.
Yeah.
Good performance.
Absolutely. I think it went pretty well. We appreciate everybody who watched us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, who are listening to us on Apple Podcast, Amazon, Spotify. Appreciate Keith Connell, Cam Metzger, RTR7291 for commenting on the show. You guys are awesome. We appreciate all of your support each and every day. And we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll talk about what we heard from Coach DeBoer. We will talk about really setting up the SEC tournament, because SEC Wednesday Night Sadness starts tomorrow. Did you know, Theo? The University of Alabama has never played an SEC tournament game on a Wednesday.
Really?
And we'll talk about the actual SEC tournament. Kentucky. We'll talk about the losers who are playing on Wednesday.
You know, Kentucky's playing on Wednesday for the first time ever. Mm-hmm. I did not know Alabama never had. That's impressive.
Big Blue Invitational, the Big Blue Nation descends on Nashville tomorrow. Hey, have you been to an SEC tournament before?
No, this is my first time. I love conference tournament week. Oh, man, I love it.
It's I don't want to say all 16 teams, but most of the fan bases in the SEC. Like, you go to SEC football championship, it's two fan bases, right? And the best two fan bases of the year, usually the best two teams of the year, usually great. You're in Atlanta, awesome time. But in Nashville, it is every dadgum T-shirt in the conference, every color in the conference there, just melting in the middle of that in downtown Nashville.
Is it just Hoover on steroids?
Yes, exactly. Awesome. Yes, exactly. And so I'm looking forward to getting up there, and we'll talk about all of that tomorrow. We'll talk about Kalen DeBoer's press conference. We're talking to Nate Oates tomorrow at 12:30 is when his SEC tournament press conference is, and then we will just keep the week rolling right here on the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com.